Hello, I'm Devin Kent, and I'm going to be talking to you today about the top risks and how to prevent them. First and foremost, we've done a great job reducing injuries over the last 6 or 7 years. Back in 2015, we had 25 total injuries. And I know no one wants to get hurt. No one wants to be one of those 25 people. But ultimately, we're still having too many injuries. So we all know one injury is too many, and we've brought it down over the years, but still having too many injuries. If you just look at that 25 number in 2015 and having 25 injuries, assuming we made no improvements, no reduction in injury, we would have hurt 70 more people as of today. So 70 more people would have been injured with some kind of almost life-altering, potentially life-altering injury. Maybe it's just stitches, but maybe it's a broken bone. Maybe it's something more significant, and that's why this is important. We'll talk about 3 main causes of injury today: slips, trips, and falls, sharp edges, which result in hand cuts, and manual handling, also known as ergonomics. We do look at injury data. We also do risk assessment. So, we do some pretty charts, we rate procedures, we make PowerPoint slides. It's great. We even do safety videos. But none of that stops an injury. The only thing that really stops an injury is you and your behavior, or me and my behavior, working safely. So we're going to be talking about that and get into some details here now. So ergonomics is one that I mentioned is a main cause of injury. We do have injuries and illness from this every single year. And I'll tell you what we need to do to prevent that, just on a general basis. First and foremost, we worked really hard to get hoists and lifts in places in our operation every time there's a lift over 30 pounds. So you should never be lifting anything over 30 pounds. The only exception to that is if you're in skilled trades. Sometimes they're doing some work that just requires a little more lifting, so they have a maximum of 50 pounds. And in either case though, if you can't properly lift alone, so even less than those weights, if you can't lift safely without straining, without awkward postures, get help. Get a mechanical lifting device. It'll prevent an injury. Also, something that's not lifting related, but ergonomics just the same, is if you have a chair and a workstation, make sure that's always set up appropriately for you. If you need help with that, contact your supervisor. HSE can help as well. But the point in setting up your workstation, your chair, is so you get a nice neutral posture, keeps the strain off your wrists, your elbows, your neck, your eyes, and so forth. So it keeps you feeling better as you work. Just again, reinforcing, even if you believe you can lift something, you think you're strong enough to do it, you're just going to do it once. Just stop if it's awkward. Just stop if it's nearing those weights, thinking maybe you can't do it. Get some help. And last but not least, always lift with your legs, not your back. The next hazard or mode of injury we want to talk about is hand injury. And most of that is sharp edges or pinches that you get in your hand. There's one main safeguard to that prevents most injuries to your hands as far as lacerations go, and that's wearing these cut-resistant gloves we have available. We do invest in these. We make them available in all the PPE cabinets. Please wear them. It's important to know you can't predict when you're going to run your hand across a sharp object or when you're going to slip and stab yourself in the hand. So you can't predict when to slide a glove on really quick. Put them on before you start your task with your hands. Put them on before you want to begin your job. So that'll be really important. Always remember to cut away from yourself as well when you're using a knife, because when you cut towards yourself, you could always slip and cut your hand or arm or any part of your body really. And when you do use a cutting tool, try to use one with the smallest of cutting edges or cutting blades. Don't get a large 5-inch blade to cut a small piece of paper, for an easy example. And please do keep your hands and be aware of your hands in a line of fire situation. So most obvious example is not holding a door by a door handle, but rather holding it by the door itself and shutting the door. You're going to smash your fingers, and that's actually happened before at our plant. So you may laugh, but it happens. People just aren't thinking all the time. So that's your ability to focus is important. The third injury we're going to talk about today is the walking and working surfaces. So this also is called slips, trips, and falls. It's one of our key injuries. Again, every year it happens everywhere in industry. We know that the majority of the time it happens because of slippery surfaces or trip hazards, things like that. One thing we can all do whenever we find a trip hazard or slip hazard barricade that hazard. Use one of the yellow tents or caution tape and get that barricaded so no one slips in it or falls in it prior to getting fixed. That's really important. If your shoes are worn, please get your shoes replaced. We have a good shoe program here. Contribute to everyone's replacement of shoes on a regular basis. So if your shoes get worn, that's an important safeguard as well. Make sure your soles are in top shape so you don't slip on any surfaces. Most important to me though is this one that I'm about to go over, is around distractions while walking. Most people won't admit to it when they trip over a curb or when they step in a hole and they get hurt. They won't admit that they were on their phone, but I know I do it too. I've done it. I'm in a rush. I'm trying to walk from point A to point B and I check in my phone to see what's going on my phone or what my next meeting is. So please, let's stop doing that. Put your phone down while you're walking. If you need to check it, stop walking for a minute. And let's help each other out with that too. If you see me walking with my phone in my hand and looking at it, please call me out.
Oh, is it time to do the movie now? Okay.
Tell me you care about my safety, and I'll do the same for you. So in summary here, we need to report all injuries. That's really important for a couple of reasons. It gets you the right treatment you need. It makes sure you're following our policies, and it allows us to prevent future injuries. So please do that. Second, I know no one ever wants to be injured, but frankly, you can't predict the future. Neither can I. I can't predict when you're going to slip and fall or when I'm going to cut my hand. So let's do our safeguards now before those accidents ever happen. We've reviewed several safety measures here today. I know I went through them really quick. There's a lot of information there. But let's learn from each other's mistakes. All of the things I went over are things we've learned because of injuries. So by implementing them now, we're learning from the mistakes of others in the past and preventing injuries of ourselves in the future. So please do that. And as I mentioned before, we can help each other by reminding each other going forward here. If you see someone doing something that could get them hurt, not wearing gloves, for example, or walking with their phone in their hand, please stop and give them a friendly reminder. It's fine to do that. That's what we should do for each other. Remember what we're trying to do. The last 6 years, we prevented 70 injuries, so 70 people would have been hurt more so today than what we've actually had because of our efforts. So that's worthwhile endeavor, and we've done a great job. So keep up the good work, because hopefully we've got 100 injuries prevented 10 years from now, and we just keep on improving until we get to that 0 injuries. So thanks a lot for listening. I hope this all makes sense to everyone and I communicated it well, and that you could implement it in your work area to stop yourself from getting hurt in the future. Thank you.